one kid already took one.
Can I use
I think
the microphone?
the other one has been causing us some issues. Yeah, this would be
Oh, this way?
right,
Okay.
right way, so you can put it over there.
Is that right?
Is that yeah?
Okay.
Uncomfortable?
I hate these ones on my head.
Handheld. Would you prefer that?
Yeah, please.
Okay. I know we've had people.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، لقد جاءكم رسولنا بالحق، صلوا على نبينا محمد، اللهم صل وسلم وبارك. صلوا على خير خلقنا محمد، اللهم صل وسلم. صلوا على شفيع ذنوبنا محمد، اللهم صل وسلم. اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما، ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إنا كنا من الظالمين. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إنا كنا من الظالمين. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إنا كنا من الظالمين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. وبعد. عن ابن عباس رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول: اغتنم خمسا قبل خمس، شبابك قبل هرمك، وصحتك قبل سقمك، وغناك قبل فقرك، وفراغك قبل شغلك، وحياتك قبل موتك. والحديث في البيحقي وصححه الألباني. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he said that there are five things. Take care of them, take advantage of them before five. The first one, take care of your young age, your youth, before you get old. Number two, take care of your health before you lose your health. Number three, utilize or take advantage of your wealth when you have it before you lose it. And take care of your time before your time is gone and you're busy. And take care of your life for your death. This is the advice of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. It's a very famous hadith. Maybe you've heard it. Memorize it. And today we're going to learn some aspects of all of them, but predominantly it's the first one. Taking care of your youth before you become old. And it is related to the others. When you're in your youth, you have health. You're good. How many times you hear your father or your mother, they say, my leg hurts, my back hurts, I can't breathe properly. How many times have you seen your mother, your father, they're struggling, maybe even in the salah, they have to sit in the chair, or they can't sit on the ground. What about when they spend on you, when they get older? Today, when you're young, they spend on you. They do whatever they can to make you successful, to go to the best university, to whatever you need in the home, they're ready for you. But someday, they will need your support. And they will need you to look after them. And they will need your financial assistance, perhaps. How busy are they? How busy are our adults working? Some people work more than one job constantly so they can provide. And maybe we're so busy we can't come to the masjid. Some of us maybe can't even come to Jum'ah. We're so busy in the life, we forget about how much our time is gone. On the phone. How many hours? How many hours are gone scrolling, WhatsApp message. This person calls me. Everybody overseas. How about instead of flicking on the phone, what about your dhikr, your tasbih? And in the end, brothers and sisters, it's about your life, taking care of it before your death. And some of us, we talk about youth, how to be a successful youth, a young person in this life. Who knows the scientific age of a youth? What's the maximum age? Anybody know? No. 40. Scientific. Auntie, do you want candy? I don't know if it's okay to give you candy. Here. Jazakallah khair. 40. All right. 40 is the age of youth. Scientifically. That's what people say. I want to ask you a question. Who knows when did the Prophet ﷺ become a prophet of Allah? Hold on. Sheikha, hold on, Sheikha. Yes. 40. Okay, come here. Wayakum. 40 years old. So does that mean that the Prophet ﷺ, he wasn't youth? In Islam, the definition of youth is very wide. We don't have an age in our deen. There is no such thing as youth. But we're going to walk through some examples today to be inspired, to know what did our Sahaba, what did our past predecessors, what did the people that we look up to alongside Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how was their life? What did they do? Regardless of their age. The first one that I'd like to mention is one of the Sahabi. His name is Al-Arqam bin Abi Al-Arqam. Al-Arqam bin Abi Al-Arqam was in the time, he converted to Islam at the time of Mecca. Whenever the Prophet ﷺ, he wanted to have a private meeting, a private gathering, did he think that he went to Abu Bakr? No. Did he go to Hamza, his uncle? No. A family member, Abu Talib maybe? No. He trusted Al-Arqam bin Abi Al-Arqam Al-Arqam bin Abi al-Arqam was 16 years old. 16-year-old boy. He entrusted him. He said that the gathering of the headquarters of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was in the house of a 16-year-old boy. Tell me, what is a 16-year-old boy doing today? What is the concern of a 16-year-old boy today? 16 years old. He is entrusted by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And today, can we be even entrusted with holding the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in front of us? Ask yourself. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us from the people of Quran. Allahumma ameen. The second example, very beautiful example, and has multiple parts to it. Zayd bin Thabit. He was getting ready to go to the battle of Badr. And in the battle of Badr, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he's going to address the army. He's going to speak to them. He's going to tell them. Give them confidence. Tell them what they can and they can't do. And he sees Zayd bin Thabit walking up. And he's coming with his armor and his weapon. And he's saying, I'm ready, Ya Rasulullah. And he's saying, Zayd, what are you doing here? Why are you here? He said, Ya Rasulullah, I can't be missed today. This is my time. I want to be here with all my brothers. I want to be here for Islam. I want to be here for you, Ya Rasulullah. And he says, you're only 13 years old, Zayd. Go back to your mother. And Zayd bin Thabit, he grabs his armor in one hand and his sword in the other, and they're so heavy for him. He's dragging them. He's dragging them along all the way home. And he goes back to his mother. And he tells his mother asks him, look at this, the mother-son or child relationship. Mother asks him, what happened? He says, Ya Ummah, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he rejected me. I went to the battle of Badr, I was ready. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he sent me home. What should I do? She says to him, there are other ways in which you can support the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are other ways in which you can serve your messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And he says, what's that? What can I do? She says to him, do you know how to read and write? Yes, I know how to read and write. Then she said to him, then when you are meeting with the Jews or other nations, who's going to translate for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Are we going to trust them with their own translation? No. You're going to do it. You're going to be the one, so that we're not being lied to. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam always has the truth. And so Zayd bin Thabit, he became fluent in Arabic, he became fluent in Hebrew, he became fluent in Assyrianiya, and among other languages. He became fluent, reading and writing. And he became the official person to coordinate between other nations and communicate between them and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What an honor. On top of that, Zayd became one of the writers of the Quran, the Wahi. Can you imagine? 13-year-old boy. Jibreel alayhi salam gets the Wahi from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. From Allah to Jibreel to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in the hands of a 13-year-old boy who was writing this book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Wahy. Can you imagine? Tell me, 13 years old today, if I told him, write half page from Quran, half page Riyadh al-Salihin maybe, right? You know, maybe child social services is going to get called. It's going to be a mess. It's going to be problems. Can you imagine? We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us to the straight path. Allahumma ameen. And to guide our children to the straight path. Allahumma ameen. I'm saying these things to you and their age and the situation. Why? So that you may look at yourself and say, what have I done for this deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What is my contribution to Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? Some of you may not have anything yet. Some of you young people, you're back to school. What are you doing for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? When you're at work, what are you doing for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Do you understand that when you come to the masjid, this is work? This is your job? Do you understand that that is dunya, but this is akhirah? You're working for your akhirah here. But if you're smart, you will attain dunya and akhirah in this place. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us goodness in this life and in the hereafter. Allahumma ameen. The next example that I'd like to give is a narration by Abdurrahman ibn Auf. Abdurrahman ibn Auf, he's saying that he was standing in the battle of Badr and he became very nervous. Very nervous. He said, I looked to my right and there was this young boy standing beside me, Mu'adh. And on my left, there was another young boy, Ma'ud, beside me on the other side. He's thinking to himself, what am I going to do in the battle? These guys, they can't protect me. They're small, tiny men. And they're holding their swords and armor. How will I be protected from the right and the left? I'm worried. The right boy turns to Abdurrahman ibn Auf and he says, Ya Amma, oh uncle, do you know which one is Abu Jahl? Abu Jahl, one of the tyrants, the Fir'aun of this ummah in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Abu Jahl was not some ordinary man. Abu Jahl was a mountain by himself. He was huge. He was one of the greatest warriors known in Mecca. He was amongst the most feared. And this boy is 16-year-old. He's telling Abdurrahman ibn Auf, which one is Abu Jahl? He says, why do you ask about Abu Jahl, ya Sabi? Young boy, why are you asking about Abu Jahl? Do you know who Abu Jahl is? He says, I heard. Not that I know. Not that I know for a fact. Not that I see. I saw with my own eyes. I heard. He used to insult the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I want to get him. I want to get him in this battle. And Abdurrahman ibn Auf, he said, he's shocked now. And he turns to his left, and the boy on his left did the same thing. Asked him the same question. And they were friends. 15-year-old, 16-year-old. This is what young people used to do in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They were ambitious. They were ambitious. They weren't clouded by their phones. They weren't glued to their computers. They were ambitious. Why? Because they had the book of Allah. The book of Allah. Do you know this book? You know these books in the corners? Some of them have dust. We don't pick them up. Maybe we don't clean them. I don't know. Allahu A'lam. What about in your home? This book of Allah. You know why they were so inspired and so successful? Because this book was not just a book to them. This book was literally the step-by-step instructions for what they need to do in their life. You want to be rich? What's your name? Huh? Anas. You want to be rich? Yes? You want lots of money? You want me to tell you how? How? Open the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What's your name? Musa. You want to be, what do you want to be when you grow up? You don't know? Doctor, engineer, probably your parents told you? No? No. Maybe, yeah. How are you going to be successful? What do you think? The Quran. What's your name? Zara? Zahra? Zara? Okay. Zara, what do you want to be when you grow up? You want to be a doctor? Oh, okay. Inshallah. May Allah make it easy for you. Give you success. Zara, how do you think that you're going to be successful? What do you need to do? Read the Quran. Memorize the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I promise you, Zara, and any other child here, and any other person, you want to be successful? Build your relationship with the book of Allah. You want anything in this life? Open the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you have a relationship with the book of Allah, everything will go your way. You will attain everything. You want shifa? You're sick? Shifa'un lima fi sudur. It is shifa for anything that is going on in your life. You want guidance? It is the guidance for all of mankind. You want to have lessons and learn? This is the book that you need to read. This is the book you need to have a relationship with. Not your phone. Not your electronics. The next example that I'd like to give, and we've got a few others, but I want to give an example of a woman. Fatima bint Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Aw radiyallahu an Fatima. Fatima, there was an incident. She is known as the queen of the believers. And she had an incident where the Abu Jahl and two others from the Quraysh, they plotted a plan. And in this plan, they said that they're going to take the insides of a camel, very disgusting, the intestines and the insides of a camel, and dump it on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And so the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he went to pray, and he prayed. And when he got in sujood, they came and they dumped this filth on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Fatima radiyallahu an, she came running to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She was just a child. She came running. And when she came, she started to take off any of the filth that was on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he finished his prayer, he looked at Fatima and he said, "Ya Fatima, don't cry. Don't feel bad. This is our test. Allah has promised me victory. Victory is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala." And Fatima was showing her how much she cared as a young child, as a young person, about her father. Whatever was going on with her father, she cared about him. She wanted to do good for him. She was known as Fatima az-Zahra. Az-Zahra. Right? It's a type of beauty in a person. And she was blessed in the way she was, and she married Ali radiyallahu anhu. And when she had her father Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was in her lap and he was dying. In the last moments, he said to her, "Come here." And he whispered something to her. And she moved back up and she said, "Come here." And he said to her, "Come here." And he came back down. And the first time she started to cry, she went back up. And the second time she went back down, she started to laugh. And she went back up. And then another moment happened between her and Aisha. And Aisha really pushed her and said, "What did he say to you? What did he say to you in those moments?" And pushed her and pushed her. And finally she gave in and she told Aisha radiallahu anha what he said. He said, when I was crying, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said to me that he can't stand what's going on with his sickness, with his illness, that he may die. And that is a reality. So she started to cry. And when she went back up and then he called her again, "Come here," went back down, he said to her that from all of my companions, you will be the first one to pass away after me. And she began to laugh. Why? Because she will be reunited with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is the softness of a woman with her father and her family. The last example, and I'll end with this inshallah, is the relationship between the young people and their parents. And this is the story of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. Abu Hurairah, you guys know Abu Hurairah? Who's Abu Hurairah? You know? You don't know? Yeah, right. Yeah. You know? You know? Who's Abu Hurairah? MashaAllah. Good. Is the answer written here somewhere? No, that's good, bro. He was looking over here. MashaAllah. Oh, here. Take whatever you want. Jazakallah khair. The Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, he had a special relationship with his mother. His mother used to live very close to him. And when he used to leave, he used to come to the door and he used to knock on the door and he used to say, "Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ya ummi." "Oh mother, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh." And then she would respond, "Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh." And he would say to her that, "Rahimakallah, may Allah have mercy on you. Kama rabbayani saghira." For may Allah have mercy on you, for you were the one who took care of me when I was young. And she said in response, "Jazakallahu khairan wa rahimakallah kama barartani kabira." And may Allah have mercy on you, Jazakumullah khair, for you were the one who took care of me, gave me birr in my life, even when I was in old age. When I became old. You took care of me when I was young, and then she responds, "And you're taking care of me when I'm old." And he would do this every single time he left the house, and every single time he came to the house. And I want to ask you now, how many times you call your mother? How many times you call your father? How many times have we ignored? Even sometimes, subhanAllah, I have a friend in the UK. His father is not even recognizing who he is. And he is there every single day in the hospital. Hoping, wanting, maybe one moment his father will remember him. So what about us? What about us? And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us to the straight path. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make our young people good to their parents and have birr towards their parents. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us good parents towards our children, to guide them to the straight path, to bring them to the masjid, to make them from among those who memorize and read the Quran. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect our young children, our young women who are wearing this hijab, asking for protection from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they are walking around openly as Muslims. Ya Allah, protect them, honor them, forgive them. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وأذل الشرك والمشركين ودمر أعداء الدين اللهم إنا نسألك موجبات رحمتك وعزائم مغفرتك والغنيمة من كل بر والسلامة من كل إثم لا تدع لنا ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا دينا إلا قضيته ولا حاجة من حوائج الدنيا والآخرة هي لك رضا ولنا فيها صلاح إلا ما قضيتها يا رب العالمين اللهم أصلح أحوالنا وأحوال المستضعفين من المؤمنين في كل مكان اللهم أصلح أحوالهم اللهم شدد رميهم اللهم اجمع كلمتهم على الحق المبين يا ذا الجلال والإكرام اللهم أعد المسجد الأقصى إلى رحاب المسلمين اللهم أعد المسجد الأقصى إلى رحاب المسلمين وارزقنا فيها صلاة قبل الممات يا رب العالمين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وقنا عذاب النار وصل اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا جزاكم الله خير. I'm going to ask 5 questions, okay? 3 for the girls, 2 for the boys, and then we will call it a night, and I think there's something that they will be serving later, inshallah. All right. I want you to name one of the 5 things that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam he told us to protect or take advantage of before others. Yes, in the blue. What's your name? Huh? Huh? Youth? Okay. What is one? No. I thought your name was youth. What's your name? Haji? Hadi. Okay, great. Hadi. What's the first one? Youth. All right, come. Yes. Wealth before? Wealth before? So, before you lose, exactly. Come take. All right. Did you get one already? You didn't? Oh. Health before you lose it. Okay. You got one, right? You didn't get one? Oh. Okay. We'll come back. Hold on. Go. Say again? Life before? Come take one. Yalla, come. Okay. Any more? There's one more, right? Time. Exactly. Okay. Who is one of the Sahaba who wrote the Quran? Hold on, I gotta get a brother this time. Yeah. Huh? What was the question? In the black? Huh? Yeah, there you go. MashaAllah. Okay. Next question. Let's see. Who is the Sahabi that I mentioned in the end that was going to knock on the door of his mother? Dark blue? I think it's dark blue. Yeah. Abu Huraira. Allahu Akbar. Do you want a candy? I'm gonna give it to a sister. All right. Yeah, we'll figure it out in the end. Okay. Last question. I want you to tell me the advice I told you. You know, if you want to be successful in anything. All right. Oh, it's too easy, huh? Did you go yet? What is it? There you go. Come take. All right. All right, guys. Jazakumullah khair. I think there's refreshments in the back there. Please help yourself. Jazakumullah khair. May Allah reward you. May Allah protect you. May Allah guide us all, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair.